welcome to episode 3 of the Midwest Take. I'm your host, Jacob.
And I'm Josh.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome to episode 3. Josh, can you believe it? We already recorded 3 episodes, or about to record 3 episodes of this podcast.
It's crazy. I've always wanted to start a podcast, and I'm so happy that we are on episode 3.
Yeah. We know. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. All right.
Get into
So-
the meat of the episode.
So thinking about it. Josh, what do us Midwesterners love like the most? What do we like to do in our free time?
Well, we love Scotcheroos. If you don't know what a Scotcheroo is, it's like a peanut butter crispy.
That's true. We do love our Scotcheroos.
And we love our chili and cinnamon rolls.
Once in a time, I actually did used to make Scotcheroos. I used to work in a bakery at one point.
I do remember that.
I used to work in a bakery, and I used to make the finest of Scotcheroos.
They were pretty good.
They were pretty good. But it's funny that you actually say chili and cinnamon rolls, because I actually had a little tangent I kind of wanted to bring up. Thinking of classic Midwest stuff. That's like the most kind of classic Midwest thing that you could think of. And
Chili and cinnamon rolls, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
chili and cinnamon rolls.
Definitely.
So I just kind of wanted to think, of others, what other people dip in their chili, because apparently cinnamon rolls is not a thing a lot of people do actually, and they seem people on the outside looking in think it looks pretty foreign for the most part. And so Josh, do you know what another I've kind of been looking around what other people do and dip in their chili. What else do you think people are dipping into their chili?
I have no idea. What have you been reading about?
So as of recent, I don't know. I was just kind of listening to some radio guys recently, and it seems like a lot of people actually dip buttered toast into chili.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never heard people ever dipping buttered toast into chili before.
Yeah, me neither. That's new to me.
Like that. Now that just sounds really kind of foreign. But you know what? Honestly,
Buttered toast.
but thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Honestly,
Makes sense.
if you didn't do cinnamon rolls, which has a great synergy, I'll have with the sweet and savory, that sweet and savory combo, you can never really go wrong with. Especially a good iced cinnamon roll dipped in that chili. That was a mainstay in our school lunches. Whenever we would get chili,
Yeah, we'd always get
in school lunches, we'd always get cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I know. That's just a Midwestern
cinnamon
thing.
rolls. And so I've heard of the buttered toast. And I'm like, okay, it's just buttered toast. That's all it is,
Just buttered
But
toast.
I actually heard of another thing some places do too,
Okay, what is it?
and it's actually peanut butter sandwiches.
What the fuck?
Peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, so the guys I was listening to, they're like, yeah, this was a mainstay in our hometown that we would dip peanut butter sandwiches into our chili.
Wow.
And I heard that, and I was taken aback. I'm like,
Same.
send it where this guy is.
Where is that coming from?
This guy, he's going in weird places. He's not going to the same places I'm going, because that just seemed like such a wacko, insane person thing
Wackadoodle.
to do, But then I got to thinking about it more, and I'm like, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. Maybe it wouldn't be too bad.
Did you try it?
I had chili a few weeks back,
Oh.
and I had yet to know about said peanut butter
I was gonna say we're
sandwich
just
trick.
getting into chili season now.
It
It's
is,
the big-
and you know what's a good signifier for chili season?
Okay.
It's it's the first college football game
Oh,
that we watch.
that makes sense.
That is
Pretty
like
fallish.
that is like the signal for my whole family to start cranking up the soups and chilies and fall time stuff. Is when college football starts. That's chili season. So quite literally um, quite every single first game of the season, we would always have chili.
I thought. Can I say what I thought you were gonna say?
What's up?
I figured you would say the Iowa State game, because that's a little more into the college season. But
No,
I mean, fall starts pretty early, so that makes sense.
it's true. And technically, by the time college football does start, it's still technically summer.
I mean, you can have chili whenever you want. You want to
True.
have it in July. Have chili.
But yeah, usually
It's usually
like,
cold weather when you start
it's
feeling
like
that
you
chill.
think cold weather, whatever.
Some
But it
chili.
just has always kind of been like I think we're just chomping at the bit to have chili again in our
So like
in our ecosystem again. That we're just ready for the chili again.
very true.
We're just ready for it. And
Very
so
true.
this has kind of just been a household tradition for us for the past, however many years or whatever. And yeah, that is like the mainstay. But yeah, going back on the peanut butter stuff, no, I have yet to try the peanut butter sandwich in the chili quite yet. But I kind of want to hear what what else would you think? Well, we like cinnamon rolls and chili. What else would you think would complement chili pretty well?
Um,
Like, is there anything that you were just like kind of curious on? Like, huh, that might be good.
I mean, if you're thinking like cinnamon roll, you could maybe put a caramel roll in there, but I think a cinnamon
Maybe
roll would
not
be
cinnamon
better.
roll. Let's try something other than cinnamon roll. Like other than what you've heard so far. What
In chili?
Yeah, what other thing would be like? All right, I could go for it. What would you like? What would you think would be like a interesting combo that might actually kind of
Well,
work?
okay, so my dad liked to show us a lot of old movies.
Mm.
I'm thinking Lethal Weapons 2. Mel Gibson says, "Do you
Great
like
actor.
your chili with or without crushed Oreos?"
Oh,
And that's a little out there, but
with or without crushed Oreos?
yeah. So apparently,
They
crushed
actually
Oreos.
said that in the film.
Yes, he said, "Do you like your chili with or without crushed Oreos?"
Really?
So I was like, "Okay, apparently Oreos and chili is a thing."
Right. Right. That sounds insane.
But sometimes the most insane combinations are good, and
that
may be off. That may be off.
Maybe crushed Oreos is like, it'd be like the same vein as like crackers. Like I was putting crackers in chili.
Crunchy, I guess.
Crunchy, and then you get
chocolatey
like,
crunchiness.
and then you get like that sweetness, like because the thing about dipping a cinnamon roll in chili is you dip it in there, you get your cinnamon roll a little soggy, but then you have the icing on top of it, which give it that little sweet kick.
Yeah, so
That-
maybe Oreos would be a good fit.
Maybe the cream of the Oreo, the artificial cream that they put in the Oreos, could actually be a solid fit for chili. I wouldn't
It
doubt
could be. It could be.
because you're dealing with that kind of sweet and savory kind of aspect of it. You can never go wrong with a good sweet and savory combo, in my eyes.
True.
Like there is, it's just like salty and sweet. Salty and sweet.
Like there's
goes-
some things I eat, and I'm like, man, I wish I had something sweet to eat afterwards.
Right. Or like I like some people do the same for like hot sauce. Some people would just put hot sauce in pretty much anything.
Yeah,
Nowadays?
I have seen that. Like,
Yeah, I've seen people put
like
hot sauce in
chicken
their
and stuff
cereal
like that.
before.
Oh boy, I've never seen that.
Yeah, hot sauce and cereal before. I don't know if that was like a TikTok thing or something like that.
It could have been. There's a lot
But
of
I
TikTok
saw quite
challenges.
literally someone take the finest Frank's Red Hot,
Ah,
and
I mean that is the ode, the
cover
good hot sauce.
their Frosted Flakes
Oh, you lost me.
with milk,
You lost me.
with milk inside of the cereal,
And they put hot sauce on it.
and then started eating it.
You lost me, dude. You lost me.
I might have lost you, but don't shoot the messenger. I just preach the word. and
That is crazy. I
I-
believe that someone's done it.
I personally probably would not indulge because the heartburn would be crazy.
Just last night I ate pizza with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
I mean, I like to try weird things.
sure.
I was the type of person. There was a buffet in town when I was a kid, Coyote Canyon.
Yeah.
I would mix all the pops together.
No.
I would. I would just
don't
like
they
put a
call
little bit.
don't they call that the suicide challenge or
Maybe I
or
would.
like dumpster water or something
I
like
would.
that?
I would like Coke, Diet Coke, Dr Pepper. Like everything. I would just mix all the
yeah.
dark pops together.
No.
Why not? It tasted all right, apparently.
Right. That might be good, like I've seen like those like I remember a really iconic Vine going back where the guy he pretty much puts his cup under every single selection at the gas station and then drinks it at the end. I don't think I could ever bring myself to do that.
I'm thinking more like the slushies when they mix all the slushies
Oh, yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I mean, the pop, it's kind of weird. Like you
I would
mix all
always
the pops
combine
together,
the blue and the red and make a purple
but
slushy.
like blue raz and cherry, and you.
Yeah, and then combine them together to get a purple.
Okay.
To get a
okay.
purple combination.
That's not as crazy. Like mixing all the pops together, that's kind of nuts. But
No,
I
that's
used
like,
to do that.
That's like psychopath stuff.
I used. Okay, I'm not a psychopath, but I used to
That's
do
like
that.
psychopath
I
stuff.
used to do that.
Yeah,
the
that is
buffet.
like crazy, loony, psychopath stuff. But
It tasted all right.
it definitely would not taste all right.
It tasted all right.
Definitely. If anything, I know about drinks and mixing them together. It's you don't combine the clears and the darks.
Well, okay, I didn't mix clear and darks.
But that you told me every single
Well,
one of them you would click. So
I'm
there'd
pretty
have
sure
to be
I
a clear one.
I'm pretty sure I just mixed the dark ones.
Just the
maybe
dark
not.
ones?
It was a long time ago. I'm a grown adult now, and I think I've come a long way.
You think?
I think I've come a long way. I don't.
Well,
I
we
don't
would
think
all
I'm a.
think.
I don't think I'm a psychopath.
Well,
But
you know
yeah.
what I did have for the other night. I had a solid root beer float for the first time like in a while the other day, and man, I forgot how much I love root beer floats.
Yeah, they are good.
I love a good root beer float. Like,
Have you ever had a
especially-
Coke float?
Yes, I would
You
actually.
can literally do a root beer float with any pop.
Quite literally. So I used to actually do Diet Coke floats.
That makes sense. You really
Because,
like Diet Coke.
I'm a big
big Diet Coker.
I like the Diet Coke. I do. I indulge quite a bit. Less nowadays. I find kind of buying pop is a little bit of a money waste, a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't really buy much. So my diet consists of water, coffee, and tea.
That's probably for the best. I mean,
Oh, for
since
sure.
COVID, pop is like $9 a 12-pack. It is expensive.
Astronomical numbers.
It is insane. It used to be like
yeah.
I remember when it was like $5 a 12-pack, like 5 years ago.
I remember it was cheaper. I remember it was way cheaper. It was like $3.99 for a 12-pack.
You used to be able to get like what 3 12-packs for like $6 a piece, or
Well,
No, probably
they would
cheaper
run
than that.
like 3 for $11 sometimes. I would see.
3 for 11.
Yeah. Well, and to give the audience a background, we used to work at a grocery store at one point,
Yes, we both
and
did.
and yeah, that grocery store would put up some pretty solid deals up on all their, selections and whatnot. And yeah, I used to see like 4 12 packs of Coke products for $12. You know, so
Yeah.
so that's about four per 12 pack, so 3.99, and that used to be I used to have a heyday with that because I would just grab 4 of whatever Coke products that I like, and then it was primarily Diet Coke, but I would dip in, dip my fingers in other selections as
Diet
well
Pepsi.
too, just to vary it up. And yeah, I remember buying Coke like that super easy, but now you see like deals like that, like 3 for 16 or something like that nowadays.
It's expensive now.
It's
3 for
super
18.
expensive. It's super expensive to buy pop nowadays.
Well,
That's why I've tried to kind of veer away, especially like in the aluminum stuff. Like in the cans, I find are more expensive than the bottles. Always.
well, yeah, like my wife's parents,
Yeah.
they used to buy the 6 packs. Like my
Mm.
wife's dad, he drinks Diet Mountain Dew.
Mm.
My wife's mom, she drinks Diet Pepsi.
Mm.
They used to be like $1. They go on sale for $1.99 a 6 pack of the bottles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Not anymore. They're probably like at least like $3 or $4 when they go on sale.
Yeah. Inflation.
Inflation and COVID really
Inflation
messed
and
up a lot.
COVID are really messed up.
It messed up a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
For sure.
I remember when you were a big Diet Coke drinker.
And I still dabble
Indulge every once in a while.
I still dabble me in like.
Hey, good for you if you don't drink pop anymore, because I wish I could
even
quit
like
pop.
tonight. I won't completely disregard that. I still drink pop on occasion. It's just I don't go out to the store and buy it for myself.
Hey, good for you,
anymore.
man. Good for you.
The only time I ever like indulge in pop now is either if I'm going out somewhere and like sitting down at a place, yeah, I might get some sort of pop to go along there.
Well, yeah, you kind of gotta when you go to a restaurant, unless you like beer.
Yeah, unless you like beer. But yeah, that's about the only time I splurge on pop anymore. It's it's better if you kind of keep it away, because if you have it around you, it
You're
just
gonna drink
entices
more.
you more.
You're gonna drink more.
Because I would go like, say I used to buy like a 12-pack of Diet Coke
How long would it take you to drink that 12-pack?
about 2-3 days.
I mean, we knew we drink a lot
So
of pop.
I would drink about 4 days.
Yeah,
four days.
we knew we drank a lot of pop when in a year. I don't even know if it was a year. We got like $40 back in cans.
Oh yeah,
That's
by returning, right?
that's a lot of pop.
Oh yeah, that's
We
so
had like
much.
3 bags of cans of
Yeah.
pops. That's
Yeah.
sickening.
Yeah, that's a lot
That's
of
sickening.
that's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of unnecessary like BS that
That's
you're putting in
too
your
much
body.
pop. So good for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
To
you.
not drink as much Diet Coke. And by the way, how's that IPA you're drinking?
Well, it is here. I'll show it out for a little bit. This one's called the Space Camper from Boulevard Brewing, a Kansas City local brewery.
And they're not a sponsor, but we did go on a Boulevard tour
Yeah,
about a month ago, and it's a cool
Yeah.
little bar, cool little
yeah,
brewery,
It's a brewery
slash bar. They got a cool bar.
It is a recent, pretty recent
19
into the game, like
1989.
Yeah,
I can't remember
somewhere
the
around
exact
there,
day,
like
but
early 90s. I
probably
wanna
about 40, 30 some years.
say. Yeah,
But-
relatively newer compared to a lot of the main brewing
But yeah,
companies. Like Michelob, Miller.
but hey, man, I appreciate those local places, right?
Yeah. So this was, Boulevard, they are a relatively new franchise, and we took at the beginning of September, we actually took a tour of their facility, and that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, they're really proud of their
Oh,
local beers.
yeah, and it's just crazy. it's crazy to hear like the stories like when we were going through that tour, and it's crazy to hear how much they had to adapt over the years to try to find the perfect blend of their alcohol. Because it just starts with like a guy's pipe dream wanting to make alcohol.
Yeah, I mean he was living in his brewery, right?
Yeah.
He had a
So
door to his house in his brewing area, right?
yeah, so the guy, he was I'm pretty sure his dad was a carpenter, right?
Yeah, he
And
was a
then
carpenter
he
as well.
also
I'm pretty
became
sure.
a carpenter after that. But then he visited France. He visited France
Europe,
and
and
he went to a place that served pretty good alcohol at one point and got inspired to then bring that back to the USA and then start making alcohol
yeah,
as well. And he basically sacrificed his whole entire life. Like he threw
sold
all of his cards in one place.
sold his dream house. Him and his
Yes.
wife sold his dream house
Yep.
and built an apartment in their brewery.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
door to his apartment was next to his tank
Yeah.
of beer.
Yeah.
It was insane. Am I right?
He was one with his alcohol for sure.
And it was a good part to play. I mean, that's the American dream right there. I mean, making it.
Yeah, he for sure. Like he could have kept up with his like carpentry and probably got pretty far. Like he could have been a carpenter and made probably lots of money. But he didn't want to be a carpenter. He wanted to be a brewer, and he then got pretty successful off it. And like over the years, they had to adapt to like changing things around the world, especially during COVID.
I'm
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I love their seltzers.
yeah,
Um,
and that's when they came out with their seltzer line, which apparently there was a lot of pushback on the whole seltzer
from
train.
the brewers, yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't want to tarnish their name brand by bringing out this seltzer.
And that's respectful
like,
because
God forbid they bring out a
I
seltzer.
mean, I'm not gonna lie. Seltzer came out of nowhere. Like
It's very popular. It's very.
but they do have a good seltzer. They do have good beer. And again, they're not a sponsor, but
yeah, but they are local enough to where they're still not.
just a shout out.
Massive.
Just a shout out.
They're still not massive. I think they're in a ton of places, but they're still not recognized as much as the other main brands. But they're getting there.
Yeah.
But let's since we took that brewing tour, let's go over that like whole entire trip. So that was so we took that trip about a month ago,
Yes, we did.
and that was your what were we down
Bachelor
there?
party.
So we went down to Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes, we did. Bachelor party, baby.
and We had a bachelor party, so we rented a van.
Minivan.
A minivan.
We were
a good
minivaning
old, good old Chrysler, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It was a Chrysler, and rented a van, and 5 of us. Yeah, 5 of us
Yep.
went down to Kansas
Yep.
City,
Yep.
stayed in a hotel overnight, and we were just living it up.
Kansas City's a great town.
It was your bachelor
Great,
party.
great barbecue.
Oh yeah, for
Great
sure.
food.
Yeah,
Kansas City's got great barbecue, great food.
yeah, it was your bachelor party. You were just having a great time.
Oh yeah.
And
You
I
bet.
think we all were having a great time.
You
we
bet.
all got pretty pretty smoked off of that.
Yeah, we were.
Except for me. I was actually pretty good. I was pretty solid.
Well, we
be
went to some great bars.
Yeah, man, Kansas City, that's a heck of a place. That's like
Kansas City.
it
Kansas City.
is-
I like that.
it's like a 6-hour drive from here.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. It's
No,
still
it-
Midwest. Like,
Yeah, it's still
if you want to have a
very
good
much
time
Midwest.
in the Midwest,
yeah,
Kansas City.
very much Midwest, and plus now there is a huge reason to go down there, and that's for some Kansas City football.
He's a big Chiefs fan.
Kansas City football has exploded, of course.
Big Mahomes fan.
With
Big Kelsey fan.
the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs winning Super
Big-
Bowls or whatever.
Big Swifty.
And maybe a three-peat this year.
He's a big Swifty.
Maybe we'll see what happens.
I'm a big old Vikings fan, so I'm still dreaming about a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he
Still dreaming.
I'm actually, in a sense, I'm actually surprised he actually got a ring this year, because I'm surprised he got married this year, because those Vikings don't have a ring yet.
No, lost like what, 4 or 5 Super Bowls?
Yeah, so I'm surprised you actually got a ring, because unlike
It wasn't a Super Bowl ring. It was a wedding
so
ring.
contrary to your team, you can actually get rings. But
Yes.
your favorite football team cannot get rings.
My family, we're lovable losers. We waited for the Cubs to win a World Series. That happened.
That was exciting.
Now I'll probably be like 80 when the Vikings win a Super Bowl.
Well, you never know this year.
You never know. I mean, I love football, and
For right now, when we're recording this, the Vikings are pretty.
the Vikings and the Chiefs
they're
are
pretty
the
hot.
the Vikings and the Chiefs right now are the only undefeated teams. They're both 4-0.
They are pretty
The
hot.
Vikings and the Chiefs are the 1 and 2 in the power rankings.
They are definitely pretty hot right now.
I mean, the Chiefs. I give the Chiefs. I give the Chiefs credit because they've won 3 Super Bowls. The
Right.
Vikings are pretenders a lot of times.
My only issue with the Chiefs right now is they are in a very weird spot to where you're not really seeing.
Well, the team doesn't look as like they don't look like Super Bowl champions. They're just
No.
getting by. They're
No,
winning
they
games.
do not look
Mahomes'
like
numbers are not as good as they have been, but
yeah.
they're still winning games.
They don't look like the team of old. They don't look like that high-powered offense that we known to expect from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kelsey looks like he's got a Taylor Swift hangover. I mean, he hasn't gotten a touchdown yet, and that may change. I'm rooting for him. I think Swift. I think she was kind of dragging him around all off season, and she's maybe it'd be better if he could focus. But
now I will preface this. Probably don't have the Swifties. Don't let them know your name. That might be a bad idea.
well,
The
I'm-
Swifties are
I'm-
a very
no, I'm happy for Travis Kelsey, but he seems like he's kind of out of it this year, and I want to see him do well.
I think for one, Travis Kelsey is just fine, and he will soon blossom.
He's gonna
he
have
will-
some big games.
He will get his big games. It's just a matter of the Chiefs are playing very like the New England Patriots at one point after their successful run with Tom Brady. They are playing very boring football right now, but they're still getting by. They're still going to be a playoff team.
I mean,
And still probably get to the Super Bowl
look at the Chiefs.
just by playing boring.
Look at the Chiefs last year. They won the Super Bowl. They were what, 9-7, 10-6. They didn't
Yeah,
have.
it was
They
a
didn't
tough
have
year.
They didn't have a blow you away year.
No.
But when it comes down to it, as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl, they have a shot.
You can never count Patrick Mahomes out.
I mean, it's just when he turns it on, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's I'm a Vikings fan, but I have respect for Patrick Mahomes
Yeah.
because 3 Super Bowls. I bet you he beats Tom Brady's record of Super Bowls because
Well, and actually,
he's already got 3. He's only like 29.
I'm pretty sure he actually did beat in his rookie year. I think he actually did, I think it might have been like 2022 or 2021 or whatever. He did beat Tom Brady's record of like 50 touchdowns. 50 touchdowns in like his rookie year or something like that, or something like his 2007 record or something. I don't remember exactly what the stats were.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, you can never count out the GOAT of football right at this moment.
Yeah, and
Even a lot of people were doubting last year. They're like, "Oh, I don't think he can do it." But
they
when
did
it
it.
comes down to the nitty gritty details of the Kansas City Chiefs,
They always figure out a way.
Patrick Mahomes will
He-
outlast.
He always
he'll
figures out a way.
outlast Travis Kelsey.
He always beats the 49ers.
He'll outlast Andy Reid.
No offense, he always beats the 49ers. Who was it?
Oh, I'm down for them to beat 49ers. any
Who
day of the
who
week.
was it that played in the Super Bowl last
The
year?
Ravens.
The Ravens.
Well, no, the 49ers.
it was the 49ers. The Ravens
yeah,
played
but
them
the
in
Ravens also faced them in
the
the
AFC championship game.
Championship, yeah. But they usually face off the 49ers.
Mahomes, he always finds a way. He
Oh,
may
yeah.
not have the best stats, but he finds a way. And you know,
yeah.
I'm not like kissing Mahomes' ass. I'm a Vikings fan all
Yes.
through and through.
As you said, yes.
But you know, you got to give credit where it's due. And it's sad to see that the Chiefs are now the new Patriots.
Yep.
Because everybody hates the Chiefs because they won 3 Super Bowls.
Yep.
They are now the new Patriots.
Live
It's-
long enough
whoever
to become
wins-
the villain.
Whoever wins enough Super Bowls, they're gonna fucking hate on.
Do
And
you think they can three-peat?
I definitely think they can
Do
because
you think the three-peat could happen? It's never happened before, of
it
course.
could. It could.
It's gotten close
of course,
with the,
I'm
with
rooting.
the Pats.
Of course, I'm rooting for the Vikings.
Naturally.
Like
but,
I think
you know-
it could happen if the Vikings don't make the playoffs. Then go ahead.
Oh,
You know.
the Vikings are making the playoffs.
Well, I've seen years where the Vikings
Do you
start
think
off.
they just have a hot start and then they fall
I've
off in the
seen
middle?
years where the Vikings are 4 or 5-0, and the next
Yeah.
thing you know, they're 5-5.
Right.
Like it
That
all.
kind of reminds me
They
of
need to
the-
beat the Jets tomorrow because you got old Aaron Rodgers.
Right. That
know?
reminds me of the Arizona Cardinals at one point. Back in like 2022, they were 7 or 8-0 the whole entire time.
They lose
and,
like 8 games in a row, or
and
what?
then they had their complete fall off and they didn't even make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure, after that. Like, it was just such a dramatic fall.
Well, and you got to think the NFC North. I mean, it's scary because you know the Lions are good.
Yeah.
And you know the Packers got Jordan Love back.
right.
So you know
will
it's gonna.
Jordan Love really be
he-
that guy?
He
like-
He didn't play very good last week against the Vikings. He threw 3 picks,
Yeah.
but he also came off an injury. He didn't look comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
So give him another week or two. You don't know what's gonna happen. The Lions look really good. I mean, the Lions look really good.
Man.
And the Vikings, they pretty much have to keep winning.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't keep winning, they're gonna lose the division because
know,
it's. And I'm a Vikings fan, but I mean the Lions are really good. I mean, they made it to the. I can't remember if they made it to the NFC Championship game last year. Or if it was the NFC division round.
They
Did they play the 49ers or did they? Play?
the 49ers beat them. So I think they were in the championship game.
But it's tough. Like
Yeah.
the NFC North is really shaping up to be a good
Yeah.
division.
A crazy thing about this is, this could all age very badly. This could all age very badly right now as we're speaking.
Okay.
So, we're just speaking on where everything is at right now at this current moment. And I'm very curious to see. We both love football. Football is great. I think honestly one of the best sports. If I had to, say for a hype sport, I would say soccer is about the only thing that would have comparison. Soccer pretty much has the world grip. Everyone in the whole world loves soccer. But I would say football is like, maybe this is me just being American brainwashed or whatever. I'd say football is one of the greatest sports.
Well, yeah,
in
I
my
mean,
eyes.
obviously soccer around the Europe and South America is number 1.
Oh,
But American football, American
and
football's
Asia.
got to be number 2 because if it's number 1 in the U.S., it's got to be number 1. Or number 2, number 1 in the U.S., number
where?
2 in the world.
Oh, in the world? Probably more basketball
You think so?
or baseball.
I don't know.
Because
Basketball's good, baseball's good, but
I'm
I don't
just
think they're
saying,
ahead of
like,
American
you do have those sports.
football.
You do have those sports, but I would,
I mean-
as a brainwashed American, I would say football is the greatest sport. Amen.
I mean,
Amen. That's all I'm saying. Football is the
okay.
greatest sport. We love football, especially around here. We are, we're two Midwest boys. We've
Yeah,
grown
I
up with
mean,
football
who
all
cares
of our life.
about what the world likes? Because we like American football, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they like their soccer, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But in America, we like football.
And in the end of the day, when one of the teams wins the Super Bowl, they are world champions. In
Yeah,
the end of the day,
because there's only football
they are
in
world
America and
champions.
Canada, so they're basically.
Yep, they are world champions. You
That's,
ever wanted to play any sports? Did you ever want to play?
well, I mean, I played baseball and football.
Yeah.
Or not. I did play football 1 year.
No.
I played wrestling. I was wrestling for folk style wrestling for like 4 years, but I played baseball. I loved baseball. I wasn't very good. My brother was a lot better than I was, but baseball was definitely where it was at for me. Because and wrestling, football not so much.
Baseball is almost the laziest man sport.
Well, because football, the issue with me for football was I wasn't very big, but I also, I didn't weigh that much, but I wasn't that tall. So if you're not very tall and you also don't weigh very much, what are you going to play in football? Because they're going to try to put you at lineman.
Bench warmer.
And you're not going to be a good lineman because linemen are bigger.
They got to be big guys.
And you got to be tall to be a wide receiver, linebacker, or safety, right? So if you're not like 6 feet tall, you're basically in trouble.
Well, you should have been just a running back.
Yeah, but if you're a running back, you better be like muscular.
Well,
like either a power back or you better be fast.
Well, like what, Tyreek Hill? He's short.
Well, he's a wide receiver, and
yeah, like comparable to that wide receiver, running back. Yeah, like those guys can be tiny, a little bit,
Well, they're fast, though.
Yeah, I think you could be pretty.
I mean, if you're talking like baseball, there's a guy who's like 5'5", which is my height.
Well, I mean,
Jose Altuve, but he's like built like a brick. You know what I mean?
Well,
he's
a lot of those guys in baseball are pretty big guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 5'5", but he's muscular. He can hit home runs out of like 435-foot fields.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah,
my brother's my height, and he can hit home runs out of 300-foot fields. You get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get the best build.
Everyone likes a good old big guy play in sports. A big guy like in football, like a big guy touchdown. You ever seen like a big guy score a touchdown before? He looks like
the Detroit Lions with their linemen that they pass to. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now, but he's a lineman and he checks in as a wide receiver. And they throw to him, and he scores a touchdown because nobody thinks a lineman is going to pass.
Right.
They're going to pass to a lineman.
Right. Yeah, it's you always got to respect a big man play in sports.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Because I think my favorite, so I would listen to videos of like the best announcer, like the best announcer moments to ever happen. And I remember there was one football play. I don't remember what team it is, but like the Chicago Bears or something like that. And they toss it to one of the linemen. He's a big guy. He's like a big 300-pound guy, whatever. And so he's got the ball, and one of the announcers is like, the ground is shaking. Like, the ground is shaking. So watch out for this guy. I don't think he actually scored a touchdown. I think he got down to the 1. But, he was just this big, giant guy just like, strutting down the field trying to avoid like 49ers or something like that. It was just like a pretty good moment in like Chicago Bears. It could be a totally different clip, but that's the only team I could really think of. Like, maybe
cool.
It could have been. But then you got those plays in like baseball too. Like baseball, you see a lot of those big guys come up to mound, but all they have to do is just power that ball out into to the bleachers. That's all they got to do, and just score a home run. It doesn't matter how big you are.
Well,
As long
honestly,
as you
though,
can just hit it out of the park all the time.
nowadays, though, there's a lot of guys that can throw 100.
True.
Like, there's a
True.
lot of the Dominican Republic.
Oh yeah.
There's some like
They're big.
guys that can, dude, they can throw.
Yeah, just like
Like for the-
Cuba. Cuba too.
Cuba too.
Yeah,
Cuba,
Cuba's
Dominican
huge
Republic,
huge.
Venezuela.
Mm.
They got a lot of guys that are only like 16 and they sign them.
Yep.
I mean, the Cubs had a guy a while back when they won the World Series, Aroldis Chapman.
Uh-huh.
He could throw 101.
Wow.
And there's a lot of guys that can throw over 100 now. And back in the day, I don't think people could throw that hard. You know, they had a lot of movement on their pitches. Nowadays, they can just power it past you. They can just throw a heater.
I would be kind of scared to be a pitcher in baseball.
I would be scared to be batting against
Like,
a guy that can throw 100.
Right. Yeah, you have them all. You have a whole ball.
But yeah, I would
coming
be
at
a
you
little
100 miles an
afraid that
hour.
somebody's going to hit one right back at me.
True, but like in the aspect of you're basically, I would say your baseball pitchers are kind of like glass cannons a little bit,
Okay.
where they are very fragile in a sense. You know, they are chucking this ball at, like, 100 miles an hour. You know, they're chucking it really fast all the time.
Right.
That puts a lot of wear on the human. Like, we're not built to be throwing 100-mile-per-hour balls all the time.
Well, you see a lot of guys that get Tommy John surgery
Yeah.
when they throw out their, I'm not sure which muscle that is, but I mean, a lot more guys are getting Tommy John
Right,
surgery.
and I've seen that.
But back in the day, if you got Tommy John surgery, you were done.
Yeah.
You know, a lot more guys are coming back from Tommy John's, and
Mhm.
they're still pitching well.
Yeah. But it's just like the wear and tear that you put on your body from being a pitcher.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because one wrong move and your season's done.
well, I look back at the 2003 Chicago Cubs, Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. Mark Pryor, unfortunately, he got injured. I think he had a leg injury. We were at that game, me and my dad, and he ended up just having a string of injuries and it ended his career. But a lot of people say that Dusty Baker, their manager, overpitched them. He would, they went to the playoffs that year, but he had them pitch like 125 pitches a game. And he says that they threw their arms out. A lot of people blame him for that. I'm not sure exactly if that's what happened or not. Lately, it seems like in Major League Baseball, they haven't been having them pitch as long.
Oh.
They've been having relief pitchers come in.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing. You don't want to wear out your pitchers.
Well, especially you got to play so many games.
162 games. I mean, they should really
Yeah, like so
maybe
many
like
games.
140. Maybe like 140 would be better. Maybe
Like,
130.
You're constantly playing these
I mean,
games.
and
back
there's
to
guys
back.
that, well, like
You know?
regular players that play like I don't know so much anymore. I mean, they'll give them an off day every once in a while, but back, and people used to play 162 games.
Yeah.
Pitchers, they only play like if you're a starting pitcher, 1 in every 5 games. But still, that's like 25, 30 starts.
Right.
That's
right.
a lot of games.
Yeah, that is a lot of games. And yeah, like I said, a lot of wear and tear on your body. And I could throw a pretty mean baseball. Don't get me wrong.
Not me.
But yeah, I was just always like I used to play baseball as well. I used to play baseball. But I used to play outfield. I played outfield.
Same.
all the time.
Same.
Outfield, and then I'd go up to bat sometimes, whatever. And but I could throw a decent ball, but I was never like pitcher status pretty much.
I hear you. I pitched it a couple times
yeah.
in like
I was never
7-8 years of baseball.
Yeah, I was never pitcher status, but I could still throw a pretty decent ball to a batter and they could hit it, or possibly strike them out too.
I could hear you. I hear you.
But I'd say baseball. Baseball was a big part of like my sports kind of
like
knowledge. I never did play any football.
I feel like baseball, the camaraderie is like, I don't know. I made like friends in baseball.
Yeah. Like I play baseball. I remember getting into a lot of sports at one point.
Well, yeah, high school, middle school, and high school is where you kind of like
Yeah, like
try things out to see if they, just to try things.
yeah, like I wanted to do wrestling too at one point.
Man, you should have.
I wanted to do wrestling, but we were so bad. Like I don't know what happened. Like to have me like not do wrestling. I don't know. I don't know. My mom, like my mom would always say that she'd like forget the meeting times, like that we would have our meetings. And this was when I was pretty young, so I couldn't get to wrestling practice or anything like that. So I remember going to the meeting, and we would like wrestle each other. And then I'm pretty sure, they would give out the schedules to the parents. All right, come back and do that. I think my mom was too scared of me wrestling that she would always like, all right, I forgot the wrestling like meeting times, and then I would just never do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm
I
like,
mean,
oh.
wrestling's a very physical sport, and
Yeah.
some of the smaller schools, I mean, you have a lot of weight classes to fill on varsity.
Uh-huh.
Like at my school we went to, we would face schools, like smaller schools that wouldn't have a full weight class. Like they would have opens, and that's an automatic 6 points to your team in a duel.
Yeah.
So, but it is a very physical sport, and you could get hurt pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, usually the ref will stop the match if it's potentially dangerous. But
yeah. A few of my friends are wrestlers. Yeah.
yeah, it's
so
it's a
I've
good
seen
sport
it.
though
I've
because
seen it.
I liked it because it's all you, right? Like you do as well as you can do.
Sure.
Like it's
True.
a team sport, but it's also
not really
like
a sport in a sense. It's more of a you versus the world, pretty much.
yeah, I mean, like
It's not
it
really
all depends on how good you are because like your team, if it's a
Or
duel,
it's not
like if
te-
it's a
not
varsity.
team sport.
if it's a
sport,
varsity
it's not a
duel,
team sport.
If it's a varsity duel, like how well you do depends on how your team does, but for the most part, it's mainly you, like how well you do, and that for me that was a big deal because I wanted to do as good as I could do.
Imagine if they had like duos in like wrestling. Like duos, like they send two of you in. They send two of you in at one point, like on the wrestling mat, and you would face like the other team, pretty much, and then you guys would duke it out back and forth. I think that'd actually be pretty enjoyable. I think they should have introduced something like that. That would have been kind of cool. But on sports and all, like we should probably get away from the sports. We probably been talking sports a good solid like 40 minutes. And a lot of people probably aren't big sports enjoyers like we are.
No, this podcast is about more than sports.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's about a lot of different
We're
stuff.
just saying our likes, in life and our dislikes in life. But probably should get on to another topic, while we're on it. Anything on your mind? Anything?
We'd
anything
also
that
like
you-
to say that if you listeners have any topics you'd like to hear about, we're open. We'll talk about anything. I mean, we're just
yes.
BSing out here. We'll talk about anything.
Yeah, we are very open to whatever suggestions in the comments. Whether it be more, I guess, more personal stuff about our lives and whatnot, and potential subjects that you'd want us to talk about. We'd be more than grateful to read your lovely comments and see what we can give our good old Midwest take about. That'd be awesome.
In the meantime, though, I know we talked a little bit about video games last week, and I just wanted to mention I'm excited. I got a new Scooby-Doo GameCube game, and I'm really excited to play that.
I'm excited to play my new GameCube game.
My new to me.
Yeah, new
Scooby-Doo
new to him.
Unmasked. Because
New to
when I
him.
was growing up, we'd play a lot of Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. and this one's unmasked. I think there's 3 of them, but I'm excited to play that, and just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
um,
Those I never did have a GameCube growing up. I
He was-
never I was
he's like you said, I'm more of an Xbox guy.
well, I didn't really have any. Well, I don't know. I wasn't like I had growing up. I had a PS2. I had a Nintendo 64. I never did have a GameCube though. We had a Wii, so I guess we could have played. I did play GameCube games on my Wii, but it was always like the Zelda games.
Well,
I
like
was always a big Zelda fan.
we had a GameCube, but my brother poured some apple juice on it, and that was the end of that. But then we
yeah.
got a PS2, so we went to the other system. Went to Sony. But,
Funny thing. I don't know why this got brought up into my head, but on your wedding day,
yeah.
First off, what was probably the best? Like going back to it all. What was the like crowning moment? What was like the crowning moment of your wedding day? Like what like made it feel real? Like it was.
Well, when we walked down the aisle at the end, I mean,
Yeah.
just getting through the ceremony, because the
Yeah.
ceremony was tough. I was a little nervous. I mean, I think we'll all like when you get married, you'll be a little bit nervous too. It's you get a little bit nervous because you're like, okay, this is simple. Like our wedding ceremony was simple, but I was I was nervous. And when we put the rings on the fingers, when we walked down the aisle as a married couple, that was the defining moment for me. And when we did our first dance, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. It was definitely a spectacle to see.
It was a good time. The whole night was a good time.
Yeah. Does it feel real? Does it feel real yet at all?
Oh yeah, I mean,
anything that's transpired in the last few weeks.
I mean, to me, it's happy to finally that we finally said I do. We'd been together so long. I'm happy that we finally said I do, and now we can get on with the next step. So
the next step. What is the next step in in your escapades? What's the next step in your adventure of life?
I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. I mean, probably eventually kids.
Yeah.
I know I want to have kids.
Would you want a boy or a girl?
I want one boy and one girl.
One boy, one girl.
Like I said in a previous episode, 2.5 kids.
2.5 kids. He did say 2.5 kids.
2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, twins.
Have you ever thought about any like names or anything? Like what would be like
Josh Jr. No, I'm
Josh
kidding. I'm
Jr..
kidding. I'm kidding.
Why not?
I mean, I could, but
Yeah, Joshua Jr.
I think Lily would be a good name if it was a girl. Lily.
Yeah, something fragrant. Very.
Lily, or I've always liked the name Toby for a boy's name. I don't know.
It could be a girl's name too.
Toby?
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, it could also double as a girl's name.
I mean, I'd be okay like with whatever, boy or girl. I'd like to have 1 boy, 1 girl, but I'd be okay with 2 boys.
Oh yeah, 2 boys.
I'd be okay with 2 boys. 2 girls might drive me kind of crazy, but
Yeah,
I
probably.
mean, I would deal with it.
I could see you being a girl dad.
Oh boy,
I could definitely see you being
2
a girl.
girls.
You don't look like a boy dad.
I would definitely tell every boy that's interested in my daughters about my guns.
Yeah.
I would be that guy. I'd be like, I have lots of guns. Don't
What
mess
would
with
be
my
like-
daughters.
So, in your eyes, we've definitely have been in that situation of, meeting the family for the first time in our respective relationships. You're in, I'm not. but at one point it was. Um, did you were probably pretty apprehensive about meeting her family for the first time, were you not?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous about meeting her mom.
As you would be. Um, was there anything that kind of made you connect with her family? Like, was there anything like, oh, this would like be something good to talk about, like
Well,
something that you could kind of connect with to not make it so awkward?
well, her parents were just so welcoming. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very nice of them to just be so welcoming and so accepting.
Mm.
I was very nervous. I didn't know how her mom would take me into their family, but she's been very welcoming, and
Mm.
and I appreciate that. It's made it really easy to feel welcome in her family.
Right. Right. So it was relatively easy for you then.
Yeah, I mean, her parents are very kind. I know that I feel love from her
Mm.
side of the family.
Mm.
So you know, I I feel like they were very welcome to me. We've been together
Yeah.
for 7 years,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's been a while.
I feel like after about
Almost a decade now.
6 months, they were like, you can come over and spend the night if you want. You're
That's
welcome.
That's a bold ask right there.
Yes, and it was. My mom wasn't even okay with that yet, but her parents were, and that's wild.
That's kind of crazy.
Not to rip on my mom. That's
That's
respectful.
kind of crazy because
Her
how-
mom was saying, "Come spend the night at our house," before my mom was.
That's pretty wild, actually.
And that's okay.
That-
Every
that's
parents are
okay.
different. I love my mom and dad, and I love her mom and dad.
That's okay. I'd say, like for me, is probably love of sports. Definitely is a good, like a good icebreaker for getting introduced to a family. That helps you connect a little bit more.
Well, it is kind of funny because I'm a Vikings fan, and
Yeah.
her dad is a Packers fan.
Yeah, as a Packers fan.
So it makes it kind of funny because he's not a diehard Packers fan. Like, he is a big Packers fan, but he's not the type to be like, I hate you because you like the Vikings.
Right.
No, we kind of laugh. He's like, those dang Packers, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when they do something they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
We just kind of joke about it, but
Mhm.
it's all fair. It's not like I dislike you because you
Well,
like
of
that team.
course. I remember, probably, the most recent relationship I was in. I really connected with sports. The only bad part was, so we connected on the college front of football.
Well,
We were both Iowa fans.
weren't her family kind of Packers fans or what?
We're both Iowa fans. And so we connected on the college level just fine. It's just when it kind of got to the pro scene.
What?
One-
So you like the Chiefs? Who did they like?
I'm a Chiefs fan. One was, a good majority of them were Green Bay Packer fans. Like,
Fair enough.
the girls
This
were
is the Midwest.
the girls were proclaimed Packer fans, even though they don't really follow football. They just have a team to root for, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the dad of the family,
Who did he like?
he was a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh God.
He was a Dallas
Oh,
Cowboy
no.
fan. And
Oh no.
yeah, that was an interesting time. But that didn't really matter. Whatever. I don't really judge, anyone on their team preferences or whatever. There's some teams that are better than others.
I do.
True.
I do get into the rivalries. Like
Yeah,
the Packers. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, if you meet a Packers fan, you're like,
It used to be the Lions were like, oh, you're a Lions fan? Cool. Congrats. Now
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
not
you're a
anymore.
Lions fan? Oh.
not anymore. Never, not since they got good. But yeah, he was a Cowboys fan, so that was the one aspect of it that I could never. I'm like, oh boy, he's talking about Dak Prescott
Here
again.
we go.
The
Here we
delusion.
go.
The delusion is like going through the family. I'm like, oh God, no.
You watch the the Cowboys. Here we
Yeah.
go. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, let's go, Dak. Let's do it.
Is
Yeah.
it's funny when those guys like the way they snap the ball.
Yeah.
Here we
It's
go.
it was definitely an interesting time. Um but other than that, what I found was really shocking. Like one thing I heard down from the grapevine that they were kind of judging me. I'm slightly older, only 2 years older.
That's not even that much.
No, that age gap is really nothing when you think about it.
Yeah, I'm 3 years older than my wife.
Exactly. So that age gap is like really nothing. One thing that they kind of picked up on from me is when we first sat down to eat dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
Because pretty much they were watching me like a hawk. We were eating like, things on plates. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we it was a pretty good dinner. We all had a good conversation, whatever. It wasn't until like a few weeks later when I was informed from my ex that her mom told her was like a good trait for someone to have was the elbows on the table.
Oh, come on.
The classic elbows on the table.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I did not put my elbows on the table.
That is baloney,
Because
right
I
there.
am not a savage. And I was told that they were judging me as you would. As the first time I was in the household.
That's baloney right there.
It might be baloney, and I thought about it too. I'm like, okay, how much validity does that really have?
It's baloney.
But hearing that, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm doing stuff kind of right. I'm doing a few things right though, where I'm getting in their graces, because that's the one tough part is getting in a new family that you're meeting's graces and being the ideal boyfriend girlfriend in that situation.
Yeah.
Because you never want to make a bad impression.
Right.
Right. There's so many little things that you can just do where you would just make a bad impression.
But come on, man. The elbows on the table, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Well, it just showed that I had good table manners. I wasn't raised like a sloth.
So you were or you weren't doing
I weren't. No, I was raised with good table manners.
Oh, so you were putting your elbows on the table.
No. You don't put your elbows on the table.
Oh, okay.
You don't.
Okay, I thought you were doing the opposite of what they wanted.
No.
Oh, so you were doing what they wanted you to do.
Yes.
Okay. That makes a whole difference.
That's how I was judged on good character.
Okay, that's good. Because I thought you meant you were doing the opposite of what they were doing. And I was like, come on.
No.
Now, if you're doing what they wanted you to do, then good. But if I was...
Well, and I didn't think about that.
But if you weren't doing...
I just did everything that was natural to me.
I'm just saying, if you weren't doing what they wanted you to do and that's what they judged you on...
Well, they would have kind of been put off by it. Wouldn't you?
But I'm glad... Dude,
okay. So circling back to my thing, way back, probably 20 minutes back now at this point, maybe this. So that's what I was judged on when I came onto that family, and then once they saw I didn't put my elbows up on the table, they're like, all right, this guy maybe have something to him.
Okay.
This guy has something to him. So my question to you now is, if your daughter or son brings in their significant other, their new boyfriend / girlfriend, whatever.
Okay.
What would instantly be a red flag for you?
Well, it wouldn't be the elbows on the table.
So if they put their elbows up on the table,
that wouldn't affect me,
wouldn't
because
affect
to
you
me
at
that
all.
doesn't
that doesn't tell you anything about
because
like maybe
just
a raised.
For me, that's not what my family thought was important.
Well, but also at the same time, I feel like if you do put your elbows up on the table, you might have some very weird eating stances.
I mean, if your elbows are all the way on the table, that is kind of weird.
Yeah. Exactly. So imagine, your elbows up on the table like this.
I mean, that
And
is
then you're
freaking
like coming
weird.
down with a
Now
foot.
that you say something, that is weird, but
That is kind of weird.
I would be, I don't know, I would be pretty
You wouldn't
respectful.
be put off put?
You know me, I'd be pretty respectful.
Okay, what if they
until you give me
started-
a reason to not be
What if
respectful.
they started gripping their fork like they do, like grip like a banana or something like that? Like a good, like fistful.
I don't know, because you know me, like when I eat, I'm not really paying attention to what other people are doing.
But like, I feel like you'd have to in this situation.
Maybe
this is your
maybe because it's my
daughter/son.
daughter. Maybe it's because my daughter. I'd be like,
Yeah.
if I had a daughter, I'd be like,
Yeah. This
I'm
is-
gonna pay attention because
this is
my
your
daughter.
daughter/son's possible,
So maybe I'd be.
future significant
So
other.
maybe I'd be paying attention to that.
Maybe you would.
Maybe
be.
I would
Or
be.
maybe not. You'd be doing this typical dad stuff where you're like 5 beers deep already.
Oh, dude, you know that's not me.
Oh, I'm
You
good.
know that's not
the
me.
Crown Apple's calling to me.
unless
in the back
something,
over
unless
there.
something happens.
Well, you'd probably, when they enter in the door, hey, I got the spigot of Crown Apple over there. You guys want some?
You want to win me over? Yeah. If I have a daughter,
Would you
and
say that would be a
if I have a daughter and she has a boyfriend and her boyfriend brings me a handle of Crown Apple, I won't notice the things that he doesn't do right.
Oh, really?
I will be too focused on that Crown Apple.
bargaining kind.
I will be too focused on that Crown Apple to notice.
Yes.
I will be like,
but what if he brought you to that at the age of like 16? Then wouldn't
well,
you be a little worried?
I would be like, I don't know where he got this. That's
But
very
I'll
weird.
accept it.
You'd be like, I don't know where he got this. It's very weird that he got me Crown Apple that he's only 16, but I will accept it graciously.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I'm sure.
I'd be like, I'm going to question where he got it and then secretly drink it later.
But yeah, so that would probably bring off a pretty decent sized red flag for you, wouldn't it? It'd be like, yeah, okay, all right. So say they're, if they're 21, bring you a little gift or whatever, a little
Yeah,
greeting
heck yeah.
gift or whatever. The daughter or son told them that you're a
You like
big,
Crown Apple and
So what what would be like a big like okay, this is the one for my daughter/son. What would be like the thing, like if they were to bring up in a conversation where you're just like, oh man, this guy or this gal is like in it, like knows what's going on,
Well, I mean, if I had a daughter,
Yeah.
if
So you're
he's-
bringing a boyfriend in.
if he was respectful towards her and he showed good manners towards her, I guess if I had a daughter, it would make a difference because I don't have a daughter.
So the good manners is everything, pretty much.
I
in
mean,
your- in your
obviously,
eyes.
he's not gonna show how he is in front of me towards her.
No, he's gonna show his best side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I would
for the
hope
most
that
part.
my daughter, if I had a daughter, would be willing to tell me if he wasn't the guy that.
Now, turn on or turn off if you make a ton of food for the whole family, a family get together.
Okay.
Or like you Sammy, and then her and her boyfriend. You make a ton of food, expecting okay, everyone's gonna have some food tonight. All right, so I gotta kind of prepare. And then that significant other says they don't want the food at all. Like, do you want them? Like, oh, I would like. What if they told you like, oh, I would much prefer like chicken nuggets or something like that.
Well, I'm pretty picky myself,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't.
But like, say if
judge
you
him.
made some of the finest like brisket or something like that, you're just like, man, this brisket is to die for.
Well, my
And
wife's
then he told you, no, I'm not a big fan of
my
brisket.
wife's pretty picky, so I'd probably be okay with it.
You'd be okay with that?
Yeah,
If
'cause
they-
my wife
if they
doesn't
didn't
really
eat
eat
any
brisket
food.
either.
If they didn't, well, okay.
If
that
he said I don't eat brisket, I'd
maybe
be like,
not
oh,
brisket.
okay. Well, I'd
Maybe
be like,
it's both your guys' favorite meal to eat or something like that.
I'm pretty understanding. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like,
You wouldn't
well,
be off put by that if they didn't eat your
no,
food
I
on the
mean,
table.
I'd be like, hey man, if you don't want brisket, I got some hot dogs. You want some hot dogs, or I could make you a hamburger. Like, I'm a kind person, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'd be willing to make him what he wants to eat,
Okay.
to be nice, and you know what I mean?
Right. So you would do that pretty much in every scenario, like for the future on, to cater to, their needs or whatever. You would take the extra step to, like, say if you didn't prepare anything else. Well, you didn't have anything else. This was the only thing on the meal platter, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't want it."
Well,
What wouldn't
I
that
don't
be
know. I'm just
kind of a level of disrespect in a sense?
um,
Wouldn't you see?
I don't know. Maybe in that situation it would be, but I'd be like, I don't know. I'm just the type of person. I'd be like, well, hey, let me go get you something that you would like, because
Okay.
I'm just,
Okay.
like I know the whole point of like having a daughter or a son is like they're trying to show their significant other trying to show you respect,
Mm.
but in a way, I guess I would be trying to show them respect
Mm.
because I'm just that, and I feel like I'm a pretty nice person, and I feel like I would try to like make them happy too.
Mm. Mm.
Maybe that's not what you would do, but that's what I would do.
Mm. Hard to say. Hard to say, honestly.
It's hard to say. If I had a daughter, I might act. If I
would,
had a daughter, I might act really differently. I might be a total douche, and
I would think I would probably shrug it off for like maybe the first few encounters, but then after like, a few more encounters, I'd kind of be like, well, like what like none of the stuff that I make really like
yeah, I might
appeases.
get offended after a few
Yeah,
times if he like keeps shrugging
I'm
off.
like I've like say if I made like different dishes every single time
And he's
I've
always
met
just
this
like,
person.
"No, I'm
no,
good."
no, no, don't want it.
I might be like, okay, why am
Like,
I even
I
making?
just want like
I might be like, why am I making food for this
yeah.
guy?
Then why am I catering to this guy? Who is this guy?
Yeah,
It'd be like one of those. I would say that would be a pretty big red flag if I had to had to say if a daughter or son brought in a new, you know, I personally I love eating. I love it.
I love food too.
I love
like
food.
I'm a little picky, but I do love food in general.
I will pretty much eat pretty much whatever you give me. As long as you tell me it's good, I'll eat it. I'll eat it for
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I am very adventurous when it comes to like food.
Well, yeah, you're more adventurous than I am.
Oh yeah.
I
Like-
only like certain things, but the things I do love, I will indulge.
Like I've always said it. I am a sucker for good advertising. I'm a sucker. I'm completely like, if you advertise me something new, I'm 9 times out of 10 probably getting it. Probably getting it, probably trying it. Like the newest thing that I got as of recent was oh yeah, they were I don't know how new these are, but they're actually Krispy Kreme jelly beans. Krispy Kreme jelly beans.
Like Krispy Kreme donuts and a jelly bean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's
when I
pretty
was
weird.
we went to some of the local candy stores or whatever, and I just kind of see in one of those like bean boozled kind of containers or whatever.
Okay.
What Jelly Bellies? Maybe they're Jelly Bellies or something like that.
Okay.
I see a Krispy Kreme Krispy Kreme packaging on this Jelly Belly packaging.
That's kind
I'm
of
like,
crazy.
what is that? And so yeah, in this packaging, they had 5 different flavors of Krispy Kreme flavored jelly beans.
It's crazy, but it also doesn't surprise me.
And I looked at that. I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up. So
Okay.
I bought
Did
'em.
you? Okay. What did they taste like? Krispy Kremes?
Yeah.
Really?
They tasted
They
really good.
tasted like Krispy Kremes.
They actually tasted.
What were the flavors?
They're pretty solid. The flavors were, there was a chocolate sprinkled donut.
Wow.
There was regular glazed. There was blueberry. There was strawberry, and I don't remember what the final one was.
Okay.
Wait, did I have 5? Maybe I already had 5 there. Wait.
Okay.
Blueberry, strawberry, glazed, chocolate sprinkles, and no, I don't remember the 5th one. But
Well, props to you for
they actually
trying those.
They actually tasted pretty solid, and I found myself. I think my favorite one out of the bunch was the strawberry one.
Okay.
Big
Okay.
fan of strawberries.
Okay.
That artificial, I love that artificial strawberry kind of taste.
So, what
It's-
would you say your favorite donut is?
My favorite donut?
Yeah.
Oh man. So, before I get on that, back to the Adventures Trying Place and Krispy Kreme again. I actually did at the start of the college football season.
Okay.
They started advertising at Krispy Kreme Dr. Pepper flavored donuts.
I remember that.
You remember that? Yes, yes.
A while back, the
when
honey
we went down to Kansas City.
bachelor party.
That was on your bachelor party. Where we
You
stopped
and Matt, you tried the
at the
Dr.
Krispy
Pepper
Kreme
donuts.
and got Dr. Pepper donuts.
Okay.
And those were actually
You thought they were pretty good.
They actually tasted. Oh, and then another one actually.
See me, I don't know if I'd want a Dr. Pepper donut.
So, it was just the icing. The icing tasted just like icing Dr. Pepper.
See, that's
It
I
was-
don't want that in a
It was
donut.
kind
I'm
of
sorry.
strange, but it tasted exactly like Dr. Pepper. And then another new combo, actually, I've tried, was Diet Coke Zero Oreos.
Okay. Okay.
And then vice versa, Oreo flavored Coke Zero.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So they had the vice versa.
I
They
think
had-
the Oreo flavored
they had
Diet Coke
they
Coke
had-
Zero would be better.
Yeah, they had Coke flavored Oreos and then Oreo flavored Coke. And so I tried it before I went to Chicago. I tried it in Chicago
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
And I would say it was pretty miss, honestly. Like I was goosing to try some of these because I've seen them advertised. I was definitely goosing for it. And the Oreos had it was a standard Oreo that had Pop Rocks inside of it,
Oh boy.
and it tasted like Coca-Cola. And it was, I would say, out of 10, I would say it was probably sitting around a 4.
That's so good.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
That's all right.
And
At
then
least you're willing to try.
then a
some of
little
these
later
crazy
on,
flavors.
I saw the other product, the Coca-Cola flavored Oreo, and that's about a 5. I would say a little bit better, a little bit more vanilla-y, a little bit more nuance to it. I can't say they were the best. Can't say they were the best. But yeah, that's some of the newer stuff I've tried so far. But I'll basically try anything new you give me, Anything new on a menu, I'm for it. I'm always getting all the weird stuff. I like it.
So the first one had Pop Rocks, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some girls like
to simulate the fizz of a Coke, pretty much.
Some women like the Pop Rocks.
Go
stuff.
on.
We're not gonna go there.
Oh, we're not going there.
But
okay,
yeah, they do
okay.
like the Pop Rocks flavor and other things, but we're not gonna go there.
Huh. Interesting. All right. Well,
I think you know what I mean, but we're not gonna go there.
Going back to my favorite donut, as this wonderful gentleman actually just asked me, Joshua. Thank you. My favorite donut has got to be the cream-filled Long John.
Oh, you like the cream filled Long
I'm
John?
a big-time cream-filled any kind of donut. kind of guy.
Custard or
No, we're talking whipped cream, like the
okay.
like it's not buttercream, it's not even whipped cream either. They're just filled cream donuts. It's not custard. It's just white cream. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what that's called. It's not buttercream. It's not whipped cream.
See, I don't usually get cream filled, but
Big fan.
big fan. Okay.
Big fan.
Okay.
Of all my donuts that I would get, I would sometimes go to my local Hy-Vee Midwest chain of a grocery store, and they would have an extravagant selection of donuts. And the donuts I used to get from there, they actually had those cream filled long johns, and they were some of the best cream filled long johns I think I've ever had.
There
Other
you
than
go.
Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme is the goat when it comes to donuts.
Y-
They their cream filled uh their cream filled donuts are really solid too. Their cream filled, like their chocolate, just cream filled or whatever, like their Boston cream pies and whatnot,
Right.
are
Right.
really really solid.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I I would definitely say probably Krispy Kreme's a little bit better, but yeah, that high
Yeah,
V
I
those
mean,
those high V whip donuts that they'd have would be immaculate. I'd be getting those all the time, but since COVID, now those don't exist anymore.
I
Sad
mean,
times.
Krispy Kreme is probably some of the best donuts. Where near where I live, they have a place that has some really good cake donuts.
Yes,
They're the
yes.
Sunshine Donuts.
Yes, I think I know. Yes.
They're very good. In fact, a few weeks ago we had some different donuts as well. A few weeks ago me and my wife were on our honeymoon. We got some Daylight Donuts, which I think is a big chain in the
Daylight
U.S.
donuts.
I think there used to be one in the town we lived in. I don't think there is. There's obviously not anymore, but
Mm.
they're pretty good. I mean, I'll give props to any place that fries their donuts.
Yeah.
Because the local
Big fried donut fan.
the local gas station chain that we have that used to fry their donuts
Yep.
does not fry their donuts anymore, and I will say they are not very good anymore.
Yep.
You gotta fry your donuts. And the grocery store where me and Jacob worked at also didn't fry their donuts.
Nope,
And
we
I will
did not.
just not rip on them, but I'll say
No, you can rip on them.
if you don't fry your donuts, they're not as good.
Yeah, you rip on them. We're fine.
Baking
we're past that.
donuts are not good.
Yeah.
Like you gotta fry them in oil.
Yeah.
You know.
We didn't have the state of the art.
They didn't have the
we didn't have
equipment.
the fryer or anything like that.
If they had the right equipment, I think they would have made
we
better
didn't have the
donuts.
right. We didn't have the space for anything like that. So we didn't have a fryer for our donuts. But our donuts were still pretty. Yeah, our donuts you'd kind of have to get right when they came out, pretty much. That's about the only good time that you'd have like a good baked donut, because then those baked donuts after a while, they really start to like turn into goop. It was kind of strange. Like you could never get a
You just don't get the crisp.
dozen of glazed like day old donuts, because they would just
You just don't get the crispiness if you don't fry them. Baking them is just a different texture, and and it's not their fault because they didn't have a fryer. I mean, if I had a donut shop, I love going to Krispy Kreme in Omaha and watching them
right
make their donuts right there in the oil.
You go down.
Oh my gosh.
You go down the oil carousel pretty much.
Yes,
like
it is
the
amazing.
the
It is
river of
amazing.
donuts. Yes. Also down to that Omaha area. You do have some other one other really amazing donut place I've had before. What's called Hertz Donuts, and they I don't know if they fry their donuts. I don't really know, but they're like more bougier kind of donuts, I would say. And I've had them. I've had them like a few times, and those donuts are pretty legit too. They're just expensive, very expensive. They're about maybe $4 to $5 a donut. But they are really, really good donut. I would say also down in Omaha, there's a lot of cookie places too. I've seen a lot of cookie places start to pop up more and more recently. I think people crave cookies.
I personally love Insomnia Cookie.
Oh yeah,
Insomnia
Ooh,
Cookie.
insomnia cookie.
They have
Late
some
night.
really good chocolate chip cookies. I would
Late
say they
night
give
cookie
Crumble
place.
a run for their money.
Bold words.
That's bold words because people love
Insomnia. Are you listening?
Crumble.
We're here
but
with your late night.
Insomnia, you want to get a sponsor going. We're down.
We'll show out your cookies all day long.
You just
I
sent
was
me like
I was a big
100 of your
insomnia cookie enjoyer.
you sent me like 100 of your chocolate chip cookies, and I will literally do anything for you.
This guy will live at one of your facilities right now. and
I will
eat
make
all
your cookies.
He will bake and eat all your cookies.
Yeah, you won't make any profit. I'll eat them all.
But there's like also other, a lot of other cookie chains down there too. There's like I see like stuffed cookies where you can get your cookies like stuffed with like cream and whatnot and
That's
jelly.
pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like a real. I've never been. Never been. I've always seen, never been. But I've had, the two main insomnia cookies and crumble cookie.
Yeah.
And there is a definite need for, I would say, late night dessert plates like places like that.
Yeah, I would say if you're
Same
gonna
with like late night ice cream too. People love a good late night ice cream.
like you want to get in on the weekend drinking population, maybe open a cookie or an ice cream shop. Those late night desserts.
That does do pretty well, I hear. It does do pretty well.
I will say, like, not disrespecting Crumble, they do have a good churro cookie. The churro cookie is very good.
The churro cookie, yes.
I just like insomnia as well.
I've had plenty of crumble cookie in my life, which actually, I guess, brings up a little story that I had going back to 2022 when I, how last podcast I was talking about that movie Moonfall. Moonfall, you remember that movie I was talking about?
Yes, I still need to watch it.
Moon
I just
falling from the sky.
haven't gotten around to it
So down in that Kansas City trip, I stayed there for I want to say 4 days, I think 4 maybe 5 days. I don't remember how many days. Miserable time, just on a sleep schedule and whatnot. I wanted to go do a little bit exploring downtown in Kansas City. And I came, I went downtown and then I went to a bar. I think I watched a football game or something like that downtown. And by the time I was done, I'm like, oh, I just kind of want to walk around a little bit more. And walking downtown Kansas City at like 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. It's like or 12 a.m. It's kind of sketch a little bit, walking by yourself. I didn't have anyone with me. I was all by myself. And I got to the point where I'm like, what's around this corner? And I see a beacon of the insomnia cookies right there. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, you know what? That sounds pretty good right now. Let me go into the insomnia cookies because I had a good time. Last time I got it over in Des Moines, had a good time. Got some great cookies. So I'm like, oh, yeah. I'll go get some late night cookies. Why not? So I get in there and I start looking at, all their cookies completely out. They're out of cookies.
Oh, no.
They are out of cookies.
Oh, no.
They still have cookies, but they are very much picked over. They're very much like the ones that you don't want. A lot of them were like the undesirables, I would say. And so I was talking to the gal. I'm like, hey, what's happening with all the cookies? And she's like, oh, sorry. All of our cookies are picked over right now because they had to supply for a festival that was going on. They were actually supplying cookies for a festival, and turns out they did not order enough cookies for their store, and so they had to kind of make do of what they had. So it is the most slim pickings I think I've ever seen for cookies. And I'm like, oh, well, do you have like chocolate chip? And she's like, no, we don't have any more chocolate chip. I'm like, oh, how about sugar cookie? And she's like, no, we don't have any sugar cookie. So I'm like, okay, well, what do they have? They have oatmeal raisin. They have a ton of gluten-free cookies. They had some brownies left over. And then a little bits and odds and ends. And I'm like, okay, well, I just want 6 cookies, so I'm like, all right, I'll just take like 2 oatmeal ones, some other ones, whatever. And she starts piling all these cookies into my box, and she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna. Yeah, she took the pans of all the other cookies, and she's like, here, take them. And so I quite literally got 20 cookies in my cookie box and paid a 6-pack price.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Oh, super good deal. Because she was like, yep, you're getting the last of the cookies, and now we're sold out on cookies.
You lucky dog.
And I'm like, all right, good deal. So I only spent like $8, $9 maybe, on a 6-pack of cookies when I got like 20 of them. And I'm like, I'm on cloud nine. I'm like, God damn, I got a good deal. I had some brownies in there too. Everything was looking good for me. And so it wasn't until I was walking out of the store is when I see a couple walk in right behind me. I'm like, ooh, that's tough. That's tough. I just completely wiped out the rest of their cookie supply. And now this couple is coming in behind me, probably wanting some cookies. And they got no more cookies left. So I'm like, I got away. I came out on top of that situation. But one thing else on Crumble is they still had ice cream still available.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah, ice cream
You
was
still
still
got some ice
available.
cream.
So, I mean, they could still get some ice cream, but, like, do you really want ice cream when you probably came for cookies? Probably not.
No, you probably want the cookies, but
Yeah, you probably do want the cookies, but, yeah, I made out like a bandit. I think the rest of the time I was in Kansas City, I would put the cookies in the microwave and just have this hot cookie just
were you
like
dipping
ready
them in
for
the
me.
coffee or?
No, I would just eat them straight.
Oh, I thought that was coming.
No.
Dunkin'.
No, I didn't have any. I didn't have a lot of coffee that time.
Oh.
Like, I think I had hotel room coffee, but I never thought about dipping my cookies in there. But yeah, that was a very interesting, good time that I had at the Insomnia Cookies.
Insomnia, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
For sure, love Insomnia.
For sure.
Cookies.
I need to go back next. I haven't. There was actually one that opened up recently near me, and
I hear you. I've been to that one a few times.
I need to go visit it at a late night junction. Yes.
You do. They got
after
some good
maybe
cookies.
maybe a bar run, maybe a few brewskis, maybe have a good time.
Maybe tomorrow after some football.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't really go out and
On
splurge. I don't really splurge on a lot of things for the most part. Only on big purchases, but like when it comes to like, do I really want that? No. But then when it comes to big purchases, I'm like, yeah, let's buy
Yeah,
it.
I hear that.
Let's buy it. Let's buy it. Yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Somebody's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, everyone. I think we're gonna actually wrap up the
Yeah.
podcast for the night. Josh, do you have any words that you would like to leave our lovely listeners with?
I just want to say thank you if you're listening to our third episode. You made it through 3 episodes, and we really, really appreciate that. And we're still figuring things out, so just hang in there. We're going to keep going. Once we get some comments on any topics people want to hear about, we're always open. So.
Yeah, always open. Always open.
So thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. So I've been your host, Jacob.
And I'm Josh.
And thank you for tuning in to the Midwest Take. And everyone have a great rest of your night. See ya.